Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. I appreciate you tuning in to the first interactive sports podcast. You know, a community that makes sure your voice is heard. So if you hear something you agree with, you disagree with, you like or you dislike, or you just want to outsmart me on something I'm on here saying, go ahead, shoot us a quick take, 219-413-9405. And of course, we'll play your take back on our next episode. And shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this episode. Get $20 off your first ticket purchase when you use the promo code TheRunPodcast. Now, this code can only be applied for first-time users on the mobile app or website. So, hey, as I always say, man, it's a lot of football left in the season. It's a lot of basketball definitely still happening. So go ahead, use that promo code TheRunPodcast and save yourself $20 on that next ticket purchase. Anyway, man, speaking of football, I'm excited because some good news for me happened. Man, I couldn't sleep when I'm telling you, I had probably the best sleep I ever heard when this news went down, man. So we all know what was going on with the Atlanta Falcons. Kirk Cousins was playing awful. He was playing terrible over the past few games. He started against the Raiders, and that game ended up being a horrific game to watch on a Monday night, especially when people were anticipating some good football. It was a Thursday night. On Thursday night, we were anticipating some good football, but that's not what we received at all. Watching Kirk Cousins and the Las Vegas Raiders, and even if you go to the Minnesota Vikings and Green Bay Packers game, it wasn't all that good either. Or it wasn't the Packers, but the Vikings game wasn't all that good either. It was Bears, but you know, it was just a lot of bad play. But I'm more so going to focus on Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons because that's what I was looking for. I was watching to see if they improved at all, and this team did not look any better than what they've looked over the previous 4 weeks. So mind you, the Falcons going into this game were on a 4-game losing streak, and, you know, they ended up finally getting a win against the Raiders, but it was the ugliest win I've ever witnessed in my life as an Atlanta Falcons fan. It was definitely up there in competition with some other games that you can think of. However, I will say there's one very good benefit that came out of this game against the Raiders is the fact that Kirk Cousins finally got sent to the bench. So that's what happened. That's why I'm on here so energized, so excited. And I couldn't sleep all week, bro. All week since this news, I've been jumping out of my socks because Kirk Cousins dead ass had me so down bad. Like, man, I was in a bad place mentally when I was talking about football and the season that's going on. I was struggling to really enjoy the season of football. And that's bad. So anybody who watches football, you understand how much, you know, we all enjoy watching football together as a unit, talking about it, talking trash and everything. We all enjoy watching football together. We love when the season is in, when college football is in, you get to talk a little trash about your team where you may have went to school or the team that you like in college. But man, watching Kirk Cousins throw the ball, it just depleted everything I liked about football. It just killed it. It killed the whole momentum. I'm like, bro, I'm ready for basketball season. I'm ready for basketball season to be in full effect. Let's go to the opening day. I was done, bro. I started losing it watching Kirk Cousins throw this ball. So I'm so thankful that the Falcons, Raheem Morris, and everybody just finally made the correct decision to bench Kirk Cousins. And, you know, Kirk has been awful. For those out there, we know Kirk Cousins is a great guy. He's a great human being, all of that, very likable person as well. Probably has the best agent, too, in all of sports because his agent somehow finessed him $180 million for 4 years when he was coming off an Achilles injury. So this is crucial information. But also some more important information here is that Kirk Cousins only threw 1 touchdown in 5 games that he played. There was an interception in every single game that he played in the past 6 or 5 games, something like that. It was at least 1 interception. And this dude, man, he needed to go to the bench. He was asking for it. And now that Michael Penix is finally the starter, man, I can celebrate. And, you know, this is where I think. So we know Michael Penix is a starter. And this is the background of where we are right now as the Atlanta Falcons, you know. So the Falcons, they're in desperation mode right now. obviously have a 7-7 record after beating the Raiders. And right now they're trying to make a run to still win the NFC South. Now, our competition in the NFC South right now happens to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Buccaneers, they've been kicking butt. They also have an easy schedule coming up in the last 3 games too. So it's rough. But Buccaneers have us by a game right now. They are 8-6. We're 7-7. However, as long as we can somewhat tie the Buccaneers, we would get into the playoffs. Because with the 10-7 record, we have the tiebreaker if the Bucs somehow end up with a 10-7 record too. So we're in desperation mode. We have to win these next few games against the Giants. We got to win against the Commanders and also the Panthers. These are easy games. Shouldn't even be a problem about winning these ball games, but they're just must-win type of games. And with Kirk Cousins, I was just very unsure if we were even going to have a chance to possibly even come close. So with Michael Penix, there's a huge upside here. Obviously, we finally got Michael Penix starting, and I'm a firm believer that he can only get better from here. I doubt he throws 4 interceptions against the New York Giants. I doubt Michael Penix goes out there and has a bad game. And even if he does, guess what? He can improve. And he won't be as bad as Kirk Cousins. So those are 2 crucial elements you got to think about when you talk about, Michael Penix is young and he doesn't have experience. Obviously, no rookie is going to have experience. So it does, it's a tough thing to say, but it's like you got to start somewhere. And with the team being so bad at the quarterback position, this is the perfect place to start for Michael Penix Jr. Because there's no film tendencies on what he does well, what he does bad, or what makes him comfortable and uncomfortable. And one of the things I think about when I'm talking about quarterbacks and rookie quarterbacks specifically, or guys who are in their second year and still haven't saw the field is, I believe in Penix because he's had the time to sit on the sideline and evaluate the game from the sidelines, pick apart Kirk Cousins and see what he was doing right, what he was doing wrong, what he should do better, where he's perfectly fine at. So quarterbacks who've had that time to sit on the sideline and watch someone else before them, usually they turn out pretty damn good. Some of the examples I think of is Patrick Mahomes. He sat behind Alex Smith for a second. Lamar Jackson, he was behind Joe Flacco. Tom Brady was behind Drew Bledsoe. With Aaron Rodgers, he was behind Brett Favre. A lot of these quarterbacks who turned out to be a franchise cornerstone or a franchise QB had the time to sit and watch a person before them. And you learn the game that way. I've been on record saying it before. A lot of times quarterbacks go in way too early. They start their career way too early. And then sometimes when this happens, we see media putting them down way too soon. For a prime example, Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was with the worst team in his career with the Carolina Panthers. And then all of a sudden now he goes to the Minnesota Vikings and people are like, whoa. Where did this come from? Was he always this good? It's like, yes, he was the number 1 pick. Of course he was this good. It's just he was a bad matchup that didn't really bring out his best value and bring out his best talent. So, it's rough because had he had that time to sit out for a second, Sam Darnold had some time to watch another quarterback in front of him, maybe he would have been a little bit better from the start with the Carolina Panthers. But who knows? Some will never know. But I love it, man. I love the situation right now for the Atlanta Falcons. It's crunch time. Every game is about to be extremely hype. And then, man, Michael Penix, I think he's got it, man. I was shocked when they first drafted a quarterback, but this was the very reason that they did draft a quarterback because, obviously, he was solid in college and now he's solid too. So we'll see. But look, I got some audio from Michael Penix Jr. as well. He was asked about what he learned from Kirk Cousins. So here's Michael Penix Jr. on what he learned from Kirk Cousins on his time on the sideline. Here we go.
A lot, like Kirk, just the way he processed, the way he speaks to the team, in meetings, on the field, just the command he has, to the offense, getting things the way that he wanted so that, he could play fast. And, it's just the things he said in the huddle, I was in the huddle today and walked through and just remember some of the stuff he did and just saying it the way he said it, because I look up to Kirk, Kirk, to be honest, Kirk couldn't do no wrong in my eyes. So it was like, dang, when I saw him in camp, leading all the way up through the season, it's he's special. He's doing that at this age, and and he did a great job, and I'm talking about getting through his progressions, making a pass to the fifth read. Our fifth read, like you don't see that a lot, scoring touchdowns and doing stuff like that. It's like, dang, how is he processing the game so quickly to get to that fifth read, to make that play? You're just trying to learn stuff like that, and just seeing how he cancel out certain routes and stuff like that based on coverages. I feel like I learned a lot of that, and I'm ready to showcase it. So.
All right, man, so let's get into it. We got some news for the run here. And, man, we got to go back to the college football because college football is in full effect. We know the 12-team format is here, man, and these games start tomorrow on Friday, or today on Friday, whatever you listening. It starts Friday, December 20th, so it's happening, man, and we're blessed to see a game kicked off by Ohio and Jacksonville State. They got the Staff DNA Cure Bowl. Don't know what the hell that is. I'm not going to sit here and cap to you. Then you got Tulane in Florida. They're going to be playing in a home mortgage against Gasparilla Bowl. I don't even know. You know what? Who cares about those bowl games? I doubt many people care about the name. So here's what we're going to do. Indiana play Notre Dame. That's the biggest game that you need to be worried about on Friday night. Indiana versus Notre Dame. The Battle of Indy is happening. And this is for the college playoffs here in that 12-team format. So whichever team wins between Indiana and Notre Dame will be advancing in this 12-team format. Now, I'll get to Saturday games as well, but of course, let me go ahead and share my humbled opinion about this 12-team college format. I still stand on business, man. I think this 12-team format is garbage. I think this 12-team format is whack. I think everybody loves it right now because it's going to give us a lot more football, which is cool, and I like that the fact that we're getting a lot of football, but the thing I'm going to dislike about this is 12 teams, one, is a lot of teams, eliminates the competition. And then it's all fun and games until we see Arizona versus Boise State, because the bracket on this side that provides certain matchups is just garbage, man. No reason, absolutely no reason we should have a potential Oregon versus Texas and it's not a championship game. We should not have an Oregon versus Ohio State and it's not a championship game. You mean to tell me if Ohio State beat Oregon, they got to play 2 more games to actually be called champions? Crazy. I don't know how they put this on the same bracket, but I'm just not a fan of it, man. This to me, the 12-team format is soft and it's whack, man. It's whack. I still think you're going to have guys resting, especially in these unheard of bowl games like the DNA Bowl and stuff like that. That's not going to solve the issue of guys resting. If your team doesn't make it in the 12-team format playoff bracket, people are still going to rest. They don't care. Everybody thinks the committee did this so we can get more football. No, the committee don't really give a damn about that. They just don't want to lose the investment dollars from the Chick-fil-A Bowl, and the Rose Bowl, and the Cotton Bowl, and the Sugar Bowl. They just don't want to lose those type of fundings from those big-time sponsors that's paying to have their names on these bowl games. That's all it really is. They don't care about how many games of football you playing and how many more games that guys got to play. But my issue relies, that's cool that we're getting more football. That's helpful. But I don't want to see a number 1 seed have the toughest route to a championship. That has to change, bro. And then 12 teams, damn it, you mean to tell me you couldn't find nobody else for the number 1 seed to match up against to give them an easy road? Whereas you get a number 2 seed, Georgia, a cupcake type of road? Come on, man. That's foolish. That's foolish right there. That's foolish. All right, anyway, look, so the rest of the playoff games that's happening for Saturday, because Saturday is going to be the big day where you see everything going on. You got the 21st. You got Tennessee and Ohio State, which is a huge matchup here. This could honestly be a big-time championship game, but, the NCAA, they just want to go ahead and give us all of those early. Clemson versus Texas is going to be a great matchup, too. Then you got Penn State versus SMU. And then for the second round, that's going to get started after on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve is when it's going to get started. But the first round of the matchups is going to be tough, man. And I'm really anticipating this Ohio State and Tennessee game. I think that's probably going to be the most fun game that we watch. Maybe Texas and Clemson. But the teams that got the bye week, Boise State, Arizona State, Georgia, and Oregon all have a bye week. And like I said, man, this is cool. It's a new format. We're trying to figure it out, but it's all fun and games until we see Arizona State versus Boise State. And people are like, what the hell is this for a championship game? I'm going to just say and leave it like that, bro, because it's garbage. It's garbage. Anyway, we got some football matchups, man. Some games that you want to keep an eye out on. Definitely some good matchups coming up in this week's 16. Man, week 16 already. Only 3 more weeks in the NFL, including week 16. So we really toward the end, man. It's crazy. So tonight for Thursday Night Football, you got the Broncos versus the Chargers. Should be an interesting matchup. I think the Chargers might end up taking it, but this is a crucial matchup here that's going to determine some playoff positions. So both teams really should come out with a vengeance and try and actually play to win, because you got 2 teams that's trying to get in the playoffs, and you got Broncos 9-5, Chargers 8-6. So it'll be tough, man. It'll be tough. Anyway, you got the Texans versus the Chiefs, which should be a great matchup too. This is also going to have a huge say on the Texans and their division champions. If they win, then they'll become division champions. But if they lose, then obviously they live to fight another day. But the Kansas City Chiefs, they're cruising right now in first seed. In their divisions, 13-1, they're killing it. Steelers versus the Ravens. This game would secure the Steelers in the AFC North. They would take control and officially be division champions in the AFC North. So definitely a game to watch there. My Giants and the Falcons. My Falcons will play the Giants, and Michael Penix Jr., he's going to be making his debut against the New York Giants, which couldn't be a better setup. I love this setup. Anyway, then you got the Lions versus the Chicago Bears, which should be good. Bengals versus the Browns. Browns are trying to stop the Bengals from getting in the playoffs. Bengals have made sort of a little comeback from a rough start to the season. Then you got the Colts, Titans playing each other, Rams and the Jets. Eagles versus the Commanders. This would solidify the Eagles a spot in their division. They would officially be division champs if they win this ball game against the Commanders. Then you got the Cardinals and the Panthers, Vikings and the Seahawks, Bills and the Patriots, Jaguars, Raiders, 49ers versus the Dolphins, the Buccaneers versus the Buccaneers versus the Dallas Cowboys. Man, all over the place. But the reason I kept saying Buccaneers is because I need the Buccaneers to lose. This will really help the chances for the Atlanta Falcons getting in the playoffs. Falcons, hopefully they move to 8-7. This would put the Buccaneers at 8-7 and put the Falcons back in the playoffs to solidify that. So I would never cheer for the Cowboys, but man, I'm hoping we actually see something here that can make it happen for the Dallas Cowboys to win. And then Monday night, man, we got the New Orleans Saints versus the Green Bay Packers. Should be kind of a decent matchup too, but the Packers have been rolling strong, so we'll really see. I'm going to leave y'all with this, man. Short episode today, and I know we got a lot of holidays coming up, so I'm excited about that. That's mainly why it's a short episode. It is what it is. But, man, enjoy the holidays, bro. Do whatever you're doing. I know for me, man, I cannot wait. Y'all probably not going to get a pod next week, just to, be upfront about it, because, I don't think I'll be out of town come Monday. So, yeah, y'all not going to get a pod. Y'all get a rewind episode, though. So I would say tune into the rewind episode. Check that out. Of course, send that to somebody. I'm going to try and find one that was like with a guest or something, but we'll see how we do it with the rewind episodes. Y'all almost got a rewind episode today, but that didn't happen. But anyway, yeah, man, just, make sure you enjoy the holidays. It'll be dope. And whatever you do, I leave it the positive note. Positive note. I'm going to try not to just throw anything crazy at y'all. I'm going to just say this, man. I had a conversation with my dad earlier. And, for the positive note, I'm going to just say, a lot of people, think about what their purpose is, and they be trying so hard to figure out their purpose. And is it, to take care of kids? Is it to provide for my family? All of that, and those are all valid purposes. But one of the things that we talked about was like, hey, your purpose can change. Like your purpose might be one thing for the month, for the year, for 5 years, for 10 years, but your purpose can change. The same purpose from when you were 17 is not going to be your same purpose from when you're 45. So, I would say just keep that in mind, accept that positive note however you want to, but just know, like, whatever your purpose may be right now, it can change. You don't have one sole purpose your entire life. Like, I could say my purpose is the podcast, and I enjoy podcasting, but I'm not going to sit here and say that's going to be my only purpose in life. So I'm going to leave y'all with that, man. Other than that, y'all have a great Christmas, man. I'm about to go ahead, chill out, watch these games, and get my chill on, get ready for the break, because it's Christmas time. And yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, all of that stuff to whatever y'all celebrate. And I mean that with no disrespect to anybody. I mean, hey, you don't know what I celebrate, so. All right, I'm done, man. I'm done. All right, I'll see y'all later on next week. Actually, yeah, it's gonna be late next week. If anything. But all right, man, y'all be easy. We'll pick back up later on next week, and so on and so on and so on.